Welcome to the Apparitions of Mary assignment. In order to honor Mother Mary on the day that we crown her, and the bishop has already stated that at 2 o'clock he's making a live streamed Mass of crowning Mary, and I hope you'll be watching. I'm going to put it on our website with the link. That way you'll be able to get there through there as well. Before we do that, I thought we would go through some of the apparitions of Mary, which are also the terms appearances of Mary. So Mary has come to us here on earth many, many times over the years, and whenever she does, miracles occur. It is always a beautiful story, and so I look very much forward to sharing these 4 stories with you. So in the class, what we would do is while you listen to me tell the story, you would color in the image of Mary, and then at the very end we would write down what this image of Mary represents. And usually each one of these images has its own name, and so at the very end we'll write that together. So color along while you listen to me, or wait till the end. You don't have to color right now. You can use markers or crayons. Just listen to our story of one of the apparitions of Mary. Okay. On December 9th, 1531, early in the morning, Juan Diego, a Christian convert, is on his way to attend Mass 2.5 miles away. Suddenly, Juan hears beautiful music and a woman's voice calling him to the top of Tepeyac Hill. At the top of the hill, he sees a radiantly beautiful woman who reveals that she is the Virgin Mary and instructs him to go to the bishop and tell him that a temple should be built in her honor at the bottom of that hill. Juan Diego goes immediately to the palace of the bishop, a Franciscan friar. The bishop receives him kindly, but for the moment is reluctant to believe Juan Diego's story. Discouraged, Juan Diego goes back to the top of Tepeyac Hill and admits his failure to the Virgin. The lady directs him to go back to the bishop and repeat the request. The incredulous bishop, which means he couldn't believe it, demanded that he be provided with some proof of this unlikely encounter. Confused and fearful, Juan Diego avoided Tepeyac Hill for several days. But on December 12th, while rushing to find a priest to attend a seriously ill uncle, he took a shortcut across the hill. The Virgin once again appeared, and Juan Diego told her of the bishop's request. The Virgin instructed him to pick roses from the usually desolate hill and deliver them as a sign. Juan Diego gathered up the miraculous blossoms in his mantle and hurried off to complete his mission. Once again, before the bishop, Juan Diego opened his tilma, and roses fell to the floor, and at the same time the image of Our Lady appeared on his tilma, or his cloak. The bishop fell to his knees, begging forgiveness because he had not believed. He took the tilma into his private chapel and placed it beside the Blessed Sacrament, where he gave thanks and praise to the Lord for having been the recipient of such a beautiful gift. Within 2 weeks, the first humble house or temple was erected on Tepeyac Hill. Here, the miraculous image of Our Lady of Guadalupe would remain. Word of the apparition spread, and people flocked to see the image of Our Lady, at which they still continue to today. Have you figured out who this apparition of Mary is, or this appearance? This one is called Our Lady of Guadalupe. I want to make sure I spell it correctly. And just a tiny bit smaller, maybe even smaller. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is you can pause me right now, and then you can make sure you take time to write down the name of this apparition or this appearance, and also take more time to color if you wish. But if you want to move right along with me, we're going to move here. Okay. So this is a story of a little bit closer to our time. This one happened in 1917. On the 13th of May, 1917, Our Blessed Lady appeared for the first time in Fatima. Children were playing and building a wall when they suddenly saw a flash of lightning. They thought that a storm was brewing, and they herded the sheep together to take them home. They once again saw the flash of lightning, and above a small oak tree, a lady, dressed entirely in white and shimmering more brilliantly than the sun. They were standing so close to it that they were standing in this light. The beautiful lady said, "Do not be afraid. I shall do you no harm." Lucia asked, "Where have you come from? And what do you want?" The Blessed Virgin said, "I come from heaven. I come to ask you to come back here on the 13th of the month at the same time for 6 months. Then I shall tell you who I am and what I want, and then I shall come a 7th time." Then Lucia asked, "Well, shall I go to heaven?" "Yes," said the lady. "And Jacinta?" "As well," said the lady. "And Francesco?" "He too," said the lady, "but first he must say a lot of rosaries." The lady returned just as she said, and on October 13th, a miracle happened. A beautiful light, which is often referred to as the day the sun danced, appeared in the area of Fatima. And in this light, people recorded that many were cured of blindness, of being deaf, and the lame were healed. Lame are people who are injured. This miracle occurred and is now known as the appearance of Our Lady of Fatima. If you need to take time to write that down and color it in, please take your time. I'm going to move forward. Look at this beautiful lady. I like this story very much. Each year, over 2 million people make their way through the mountainous country of southeastern France to Lourdes. They come seeking cures, hoping to find answers, believing and praying. At Lourdes, people recall the lady dressed in white with a blue sash, yellow roses at her feet, and a rosary on her arm, the Blessed Virgin Mary. On February 11th, 1858, Mary appeared to 14-year-old Bernadette. This was the first of 18 visits, many of which 20,000 people were present. When Bernadette asked the lady's identity, she replied that "I am the Immaculate Conception." The Blessed Virgin, through Bernadette, had come to call sinners to a change of heart. Her message was a request for prayer and penance. She also instructed Bernadette to tell the priests that a chapel was to be built on the site and processions held. On February 25, 1858, the lady told Bernadette to dig in the dirt and drink of a stream. Bernadette began to dig, and after several attempts, she was able to find water to drink. The water continued to flow from where she had dug with her hands until it was producing 32,000 gallons of water a day, and it still does. There have been over 5,000 cures recorded. Most of them have taken place during the blessing with the Blessed Sacrament. This is known as Our Lady of Lourdes. All right. And the final one, I know it didn't come out very well. As you hear the story, you'll understand more of what this building is and who these people are and these people, and you'll be able to kind of understand who these are. And it also kind of tells you who the lady is. So I know that the picture didn't come out very well, but usually what we do in classes, we might do, it almost looks like a connect the dots. So that would be totally okay. And let's read you this final story. On the evening of August 21st, 1879, 2 women from a small village of Knock, Mary McLaughlin and Mary Byrne, were walking back to their home in the rain when they passed by the back of a town church. There against the wall of the church stood the Blessed Virgin Mary, Saint Joseph, Saint John the Evangelist, and an altar with a lamb and a cross on it. Flying around the altar were several angels. The women called several other people to the church. They too saw the apparition. What they and the 13 others saw in that still bright day was a beautiful woman, clothed in white garments, wearing a large, brilliant crown. Her hands were raised in prayer. 10 days after the first apparition, the first cure occurred. A young girl who was born deaf was instantly gifted with the gift of hearing. At the end of 1880, some 300 cures, apparently miraculous, had been recorded in the diary of a parish priest. People still visit this area. This sighting is known, which occurred in Ireland, as Our Lady of Knock. Okay. Well, I hope you've enjoyed these stories of Mary, and that if you're curious, there are tons more stories about Mary to be found. And it's a wonderful way for us to begin our May, the month of the Rosary, and we will be celebrating each morning together. All right, take care.